So what do I eat? What do I eat? That is what everybody's asking. I'm breaking the fast. So what do I eat though? What am I going to break my fast with? If I eat too much, maybe I disrupt the fast. If I eat too little, then I'm hungry and I feel like I'm starving. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. Hey, y'all, that's Dr. Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level, creating the life you've always wanted. And this year, new year, new you. I'm talking to type 2 diabetics, adults with type 2 diabetes. How do we put your diabetes in remission? How do we reverse your diabetes, get you off of some of those medications? And I am at the end, almost to the end, y'all. We were within what? 11 minutes of another 72-hour fast. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the foods that you can eat to break the fast and let you know what is going on with me. As you know, like we do, I do a check-in, and I've been doing a check-in. I'm just pulling up my graph here so that you can see what my blood sugars are. We'll take a look at my glucose meters. My continuous monitors. I've got next to me here, hanging out my my finger stick or my Contour and my Keto Mojo. And over to my right, I've got what my graphs are showing. Let me actually pull that up for you here, so you can see what my blood sugar is actually now on that's my Libre, right? And then over here, you'll take a look here in just a minute as soon as it comes up. Well, there you are. All right, we'll take a look at these graphs over on this side, okay? Yeah, so as I do, hold on a second, guys. I got somebody knocking. All right. Yeah, so my assistant is coming to bring my food that I'm going to be breaking the fast with. All right. So as I do also, I do a check-in to let you know where I am and let you know what is going on with me, how I'm feeling physically, mentally, and emotionally. So let's see, physically, what's going on physically? So physically, I am actually feeling pretty good. I'm energetic, as you guys see. I've got good rest. I've got good rest and prepared, and I've been keeping well hydrated over the course of this fast. So that's worked out well. Mentally, I'm feeling clear, not cloudy at all. And then emotionally, I talked yesterday about having a couple of things that went on. Wasn't feeling quite up to par because I had stayed up late and didn't get some rest, but now I'm doing much better. And today actually was actually pretty good. So that's what, physically, mentally, emotionally doing well. I do see someone out there. So Jennifer, hey. Jennifer says, howdy all. Thank you for coming through, Jennifer. And I think once again, the folks who are over there on Instagram may not be seeing us, but if you let them know, hey, come on over. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, and all the other places. Awesome. All right, let's take a look at some numbers. Because this one was interesting to me. As I've been checking my ketones over the last couple of days, they've been a little lower than I expected them to be. So let's take a look right now. This is my Libre. So my Libre says that I'm 58. And I actually saw my doctor today. Actually, I had a new doctor because the old one has retired. And so I met my new physician today. And so we had a conversation. I think when I got my blood work done, a couple of weeks ago, my blood sugar was like 60 something. And so he was concerned, wanting to know whether I was feeling those symptoms. And so we kind of talked about where I am, what I'm doing. And you see there, my blood sugar is 58 and I don't feel that at all. Okay. And then let's see, let's hop over and let's take a look to see what this is what my Dexcom is showing. So 73. So that's a pretty sizable difference. And I know sometimes that confuses a lot of people, and some people get worried that because they are so different. For instance, the finger sticks are different from the CGMs and so on and so forth. It happens. It happens. Okay. And it has to do with the way the different monitors may be measuring whether your blood sugars are changing at the time and which one is capturing the data in a more real time for that change in blood sugar. For example, each of the meters checks the blood sugar. One may check it every 5 minutes, right? And if they're not in sync, it takes about 5 minutes. There's a 5-minute difference, right? So those numbers can change quite significantly over that time. Also, if your blood sugars are changing, for instance, you just finished eating, or you're going hypoglycemic because you took medication, then the meters can have different numbers, okay? All right, so that's what we're seeing there. So let's hop over and let's take a look and let's see what my monitors, my finger stick is actually showing. So let's go ahead and get one of these. So this is my continuous glucose monitor number that you see on the screen. And this is my contour. All right, so contour, and then here is my Keto Mojo. And as you know, the Keto Mojo gives us not just the blood sugar, but it also gives us the ketones. So let's go ahead and get a good finger stick. Get a good drop of blood. All right, so that will do it. All right, so that's my Keto Mojo. Here's the contour, and we'll see what those are. So look at that. So 64 for the Keto Mojo, and 61 for the contour. And then if we compare that to where the Dexcom is, notice the Dexcom is 73 and my Libre is reading 58. So the Libre, the Keto Mojo, and the contour are the ones that are closest to each other at this point, okay? And the Dexcom is quite a bit off there. I shouldn't say quite a bit, but it's off. All right, so let's go ahead and let's switch over and let's take a look to see what our ketones are. And as I normally do, I'm going to get this started, but I'm not going to let you see what it is because we're going to have you, oh, if I can get a, there we go. If I can get a good drop of blood. Oh, you're not seeing that. All right, so that's moving there. All right, so that's going to be running. And then we'll come back and we'll take a look and see what that is. All right. Okay. So if you think you know what it is, go ahead and drop that in the comments. Let me know what you think the blood sugar is right now after fasting. And we are just 3 minutes away, y'all, from another 72 hours. 3 minutes away from another 72 hours. And let's take a look at what our graphs are saying that the blood sugar is. Let me do one thing. As you know, this times out, and I wish they would change the length of time that it times out, because as I'm talking to you, it goes out, and then I've got to log back in. So let me do that really quickly while we. And so once again, if you're out there, if you've been fasting, go ahead and put in to the chat where you are. How many hours are you fasting? If you're not fasting, are you planning to fast? Have you been working on a specific disease process? Have you been working to treat a specific thing? Right? Are you high blood pressure, hypertension, cholesterol, and so forth? Let us know what you are doing and the reason for your fast. All right. We are working on reversing diabetes, but remember that it's not just the diabetes. There are all these other things that get better when we fast. Okay. So let's hop over and let's take a look at our Dexcom. This is our Dexcom report. And the Dexcom report says that my average blood sugar is 107. Actually, let me do this one. Yeah, there we go. Average blood sugar is 107. My glucose management indicator is 5.9. That means that if I were to get blood sugar or get an A1C at this point with these numbers, my A1C would be a 5.9. And I think I mentioned to you that my most recent A1C, the one that I went over with my doctor today, was 6.1. So not that far off from 5.9. So I'm in range 98% of the time. And that range is between 70 and 180. Okay. And we'll come back and we'll take a look at in a minute to see what those the rest of those blood sugars. But let's hop over and let's talk a little bit about our what we're discussing tonight. And tonight we're talking about what to eat, right? What should I eat as we do this 72-hour check-in? And that's a question that I get often. And the question is, okay, doc, what should I be eating to break the fast? And okay, and we'll come back to that. Yeah, so what should I be eating to break the fast? Well, there are a couple of principles that we want to adhere to, right? And the number one principle for breaking a fast is you got to listen to your body. You got to listen to your body. And that is, right, remember, I keep talking about the three phases: the pre-fast, the preparing for the fast itself, and then breaking the fast or ending the fast. And so each of those phases just as important as the other. And the breaking of the fast is particularly important because, particularly if you're doing an extended fast, your body has gone through lots of metabolic, physiologic changes, right, over the course of the 3 days, for instance, for me, or the 48 hours or the 24 hours that you've been doing, or for some people who are even doing longer fasts. And we'll talk about that in a minute because I've got a plan that I want to do, but I'll tell you. All right. So as you get into the fast, you want to start slow. Whatever you're going to do to break the fast, you want to start slow. And as you've seen, I have broken my fast on several occasions. Actually, most of them, I think, except for one. I've broken it with very simple things that I was eating or drinking, consuming, in terms of getting back into the flows of eating. Right. So one of the things that happens is if you are fasting, particularly if you're doing an extended fast, then the GI lining, the GI tract, the cells in your stomach, the cells in your esophagus, the cells in your colon, all of those cells are kind of quiescent. So they've actually, it's not that they go to sleep, but they don't have to work as hard. And so the mucus that they normally produce to kind of coat the GI tract, the acid that your body produces, all the things that are going on, they've actually decreased. And so as you're introducing food, then they have to wake up. And if you put a large bolus of food, if you will, in there, like you sit down and you have your appetizers, if you got a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 course meal, right? And you're just chugging down food, and you've got food that has all kinds of different flavors and taste and spicy and so forth, then the body has to rapidly increase the amount of mucus that it produces. And so that can lead to lots of elimination, right? Running to the bathroom all the time. It can produce nausea. It can produce all those symptoms that go along with just having an upset stomach. And as a result, you don't feel well. And when you don't feel well, the next time that you want to fast, the brain is going to say, no, we're not going there again. Okay? So you want to be cautious with that. That's one of the things. The other thing is, as you get to the end of the fast, remember what we've been doing. Our goal was to decrease our insulin, the spikes in our insulin, decrease our blood sugar so that we don't have those cravings. And if at the end of the fast, you all of a sudden start eating a lot of refined, highly processed, sugary foods, then your blood sugar spikes up, the insulin comes out, and then you're famished and you feel like you haven't eaten. You feel like you are starving and you're constantly eating and eating and eating. So one of the things I talked about last week or the week before when I ended my fast was actually I wanted to keep myself, even though I was breaking the fast and I was taking in food that had calories, I had minimized the amount of carbohydrates that I was taking in so that I didn't get those spikes in my blood sugar. Okay. All right. So, and then once again, as you're going through the end of the fast, you want to listen to your body. Your body will tell you, hey, let's not do that. Let's do this. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at some things that we can have. So here you'll see, and I've broken this up into meal 1, meal 2, and meal 3. Meal 1, meal 2, and meal 3. And meal 1 is, starts out pretty simple. So vegetable broth. And I put vegetable broth there because several weeks ago, someone asked me about vegetarian, right? Someone who's vegetarian or vegan. And so I've been using bone broth. But remember, you can also use vegetable broth. You can make vegetable broth. So basically that's a broth. It can be vegetable, it can be chicken broth, it can be bone broth, right? Whatever kind of broth you want to use. That's a good place to insert that there. Give me just a second. All right. And then a small apple or half of a banana. Now here I want to be cautious, right? Because, and notice what I have. So I don't have like melons, and particularly in meal number 1, I don't have a lot of melons, a lot of berries, even though when we talked about our starchy and non-starchy foods, right, berries were there. But here, the apple, a small apple, is appropriate for breaking the fast. You've got to kind of look at your blood sugars as you're breaking the fast to see what happens to them. Several weeks ago, once again, going back to kind of my story, I broke my fast. I was breaking my fast by eating beans, right? So pinto beans, I love beans. And I noticed that my blood sugars were actually spiking up higher than I wanted. And even though I didn't feel ravenous, I was hungrier than I thought I should be. Okay. And so I've kind of altered what it is I use to break the fast. We've talked about, almonds and pistachios, and you'll see some of that here in a minute. But all of those things you can use to break the fast, but you want to, once again, kind of monitor and see how your body responds. Because remember, each of us has a different response. Our bodies respond in a different way. And then plain Greek yogurt, right? That would be a good thing for breaking the fast because you've got the yogurt, you got the little sour, some fermentation, depending on the kind of yogurt. And notice it's plain. It doesn't have a lot of sweeteners, right? So you can go out and you can buy some yogurt that's pretty sweet. Those are not the ones we're talking about, right? Cooked carrots. You can use that as well. Avocado. That's another place where you can be, because avocado not only gives you the calories, they don't have a lot of carbs, and they're good fats, right? We talked about healthy fats, so that's a good one to be able to use. And then of course almonds. Now, I had to put almonds on there, and I have to. I should say I have to. But I've got to limit my almonds, right? Because I can sit down. People say, "Oh, how many almonds you can eat?" Well, I can eat a lot, right? Because I just love them, almonds and cashews. In fact, I went to the grocery store today as I was kind of thinking about what I was going to do to get out of this fast, and I walked down the aisle, and I picked up some almonds and I picked up cashews. And usually, y'all, if I buy that on Friday, by Monday they're all gone. Right, and I get one of those, not the giant bags. Actually, I think, hold on a second. All right, so this is, let me do it this way. So these are the almonds that I like. Right, and let me put them over here. I think you'll get a better picture of them. Here we go. So these are the almonds that I get, and these are the cashews. All right, so these are the planters, and they're the cashew halves and pieces, and they're lightly salted. And then these are the Blue Diamond Bold Habanero. Right, and they're very, very good. And if I can go to, let me see if I can pull that up. I think I can do it. I've got to find it. If I go to my Yuka app, go to my Yuka app. You guys remember? Actually, let me pull this over so you can see it this way. So if I go to my Yuka app, I think I may have that in there. If I don't, I'll go ahead and scan it. Okay, so here are the planters, right? And the Yuka app, if you remember, gives us a breakdown of the food. It gives us a grade, and right now this is a 60 out of 100. I think the almonds are not gonna get as good a grade. So let me go ahead and let me scan those because I don't see it right now. And the way this works is, I hit this thing right here, and it's supposed to scan it. If I can get the bark. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's it gave me a 78 out of 100. So these are actually better. These are actually better, y'all, than the cashews. Wow, interesting. So anyway, so that's how that works, right? So anyway, so I like almonds, and so I use them, and you'll see there on the screen as part of that first meal there are almonds there. In meal number 2, and now you can be a little bit more generous, right? So your body has kind of gotten used to having food again. And here I have some oatmeal, and this is plain oatmeal, y'all. This is not the little packets of oatmeal that have all the sugar and all the other things in there. This is like just steel cut oatmeal, is plain. Boiled potatoes, and if you saw our show on Monday, the boiled potatoes, interesting if you use the retrogradation. In other words, you cook the potatoes the night before, you're going to end the fast, you put them in the refrigerator, because what happens when you cook them, the water gets into it, and those starches are ready to be absorbed. When you cool it in the refrigerator, those the structure of the starches become more crystalline, and so when you warm it up and eat it again, then the body doesn't absorb as much of the carbohydrates. So you get a smaller spike in blood sugar as a result of that. Then, of course, steamed vegetables, and those come in a lot of different forms. We did a show on starchy and non-starchy vegetables. Here, I was thinking. Actually, I was sitting in the grocery store, or not sitting, but I was standing in the grocery store. And I had gone through and created some recipes, and I was going to get some cauliflower and some broccoli and some zucchini. And then I thought to myself, well, I don't want to go home and cook right now, because if I go home and cook right now, then, right, I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to feel like I'm hungry. Let me say it that way. So I opted not to do that. But I think maybe next week or one of these weeks, I'll go and get those, because this month, right, we are also working on our recipe. So you should be working on this recipe, and that would be a good place for me to do some cooking, and you guys can see some of that. All right, so steamed vegetables, scrambled eggs, and you've seen me here on the show break my fast with scrambled eggs, and I actually have used scrambled eggs as meal number 1. Okay, I've used eggs as meal number 1 without a lot of stuff on it. It was just the eggs, maybe a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. So I got the calories in, and I still maintained some ketosis. So that was a good one for me. That was a good thing for me. And then, of course, brown rice. Once again, you have got to be careful and monitor how your body responds to. Oh, actually, you guys aren't seeing that. And monitor how your body is responding to those different things, right? So brown rice is there. For some people, rice brings a big spike in blood sugar. So that may not be one that you want to eat right there. Cooked spinach is another non-starchy vegetable. And, of course, cucumber slices. Now, the summer vegetables, summer squashes and those types of things, they tend to be more... they are good place. Let me say it this way. There's a good place for them to come in, right? Because you can do some squashes, some squash in this area, right? So that's meal 1, meal 2. And then, of course, when we get to meal 3, you're pretty much back into the swing of things, and you're eating. Now you can add some grilled chicken breasts, some baked sweet potatoes. Once again, watching those carbs, right? And you want to make sure that you're using the retrogradation as well. Make sure that you cook it, try to cook it the day before, and then put it in the refrigerator so that those structures begin to crystallize so that when you eat it, it doesn't absorb as much. And then steam asparagus and green beans, quinoa, walnuts, right? So I'm not a big walnut fan. My wife does buy like the mixed nuts, and there are walnuts in there. And I'll try to get all the almonds and the the almonds, the pistachios, and the cashews, right? And I'll leave all the walnuts for her. Cooked mushrooms. Now, in addition to beans and these almonds and cashews that I'm talking about, the next thing that I like, right? I shouldn't say the next thing, but one of the other things that I like, I love mushrooms. Right, you get the shiitake mushrooms, you get the regular mushrooms, and you cook them all together. And I've talked before about using portobello mushrooms as an actual steak, or using it as the burger part in a hamburger. That's so delicious. And then pears. So pears, once again, and all the things, and I guess I should put some asterisks next to some of these. All the ones that I'm pointing out are things that you've got to be sure to watch how your body responds, right? So starting with the banana and the apple, coming over to the carrots, then the steamed or the boiled potato and the brown rice, and then of course over here the pears, and the sweet potato. And then of course another thing you can have there is baked salmon, right? So that's meal 1, meal 2, and meal 3. All right. So let's see. Let's hop back over here, and I think I saw someone come in. Let's see. What's good, brother? I'm a brother doing fitness, and I stream workouts. Would appreciate a follow so I can shout you out to my followers. Bro, people need to be tuned into you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you for coming on. I'll give you a shout out and a hand clap. Thank you for being here, and appreciate what you do. I'll take a look at your channel. Looks like you're on Twitch, right? Yeah. So we'll hop over and we'll take a look. Yeah, so that's the other platform that we're streaming on, by the way. So if you're on Twitch, hey. Okay. All right. So what do you think, y'all? What do you think my blood sugars were? What do you think my blood sugars, or not blood sugar, what do you think my ketones were? Okay. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and let's hop over and let's take a look at this guy. So we said that we were going to take a look at what our blood sugars were. And so this is my Dexcom. So I'm going to scroll back and get to Tuesday. So we started fasting right here at Tuesday at 6 o'clock. You'll see there the blood sugar, 117-ish. And then we got to Wednesday, 24 hours. We're down in the 80s, 83. And then 48 hours, right? We're in the 70s. So we went from the hundreds to the 80s to the 70s. And then today, now, it didn't pull up at 6 o'clock, but right at 5:17, we were in the 70s. Okay? And then if we go over to, this is the Libre, and once again, the same similar numbers. There is my time in range. Here is my average glucose, my glucose management indicator, right, 5.5. So remember, this tends to be a little lower than the Dexcom. And then if we scroll down here, and we're looking now at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, Tuesday. So Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock, we started the fast right here. And then 24 hours later, 6 o'clock, right there. Notice that the blood sugars, right? So this was about 100 maybe. And now right here, the blood sugars are right on the line between, right around 70. And then on Thursday, so yesterday, last night at 6 o'clock, we dipped below 70 and kind of maintained a little bit of that going in through the night. And then into the next morning, which was today. And notice that we spiked up a little bit, and then right in the afternoon we came back down, right? Now notice one thing that you did not see, and I don't see Teresa on there. Teresa is one of our, was it Teresa or Jennifer? One of our community members who I was talking about the spike that I got. Let's see, where was that spike? I was talking about the spikes I was getting right here, right here. And I was saying that those spikes are because I was brushing my teeth. And so she said, hey, just use baking soda with a toothbrush. And so I did that. And look at this, y'all. Right? So there's a little thing, little bump right there, but nothing there. And then nothing here. So none of these spikes. So it looks like that baking soda is working, and that spike that I was getting was definitely due to the toothpaste. Isn't that amazing? that there's enough toothpaste, there's enough sugar in the toothpaste to cause that spike. All right, so let's hop over, and I want to bring back my Keto Mojo. You remember we looked at my blood sugars, but we did not see what my and it actually I won't be able to see it here, but it will pull over when I get to. Let me get the app up. There we go. It's going to make sure that that's on, and we'll see that pull over here in just a minute. All right, so there's our blood sugar of 64 is what it was, and my ketones are 4.2, right? So that's more of what I was expecting. And if I go back down here, you'll see yesterday when I did the show, right at about 11:30, 11:27, my ketones were 1.3. I was expecting them to be lower, but my blood sugar was 74. So, all right. And then, of course, the day before, here's my glucose at 75, ketones of 1.2, and then April 10th, my blood sugar was 74 and ketones were 0.1 or was 0.8. And so that was, let's see, I'd been fasting maybe 6 hours at that point. Well, less than 6 hours because I started at 6:30 and it's 10:30. So a little bit over 4. No, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, I had to count. Just a couple minutes over 4 hours. Okay. And then looking at my graph, this is my graph, and you'll see there that the ketones took a big jump, right, as my blood sugars came down. So ketones were kind of traveling together. Then they crossed the turquoise line is those are the ketones, and then of course the tan line is the blood sugar. So big bump there for ketones going up as my blood sugars went down. Okay, and then y'all, let's see, what did my helper bring me? Oh wow, he brought me a big bowl of stuff. So this is what I'm going to be. That's a big bowl, y'all. And then I've got some cheese. So this is what I'm breaking my fast with. Some broth and some cheese. Of course, I brought these over here to show you guys. So I may, I don't know. We'll see. All right. So let's see. What do I think? Let's see what I got. And he usually makes it better than me, y'all. So let's see. I didn't do 72 hours. Another one in the books. 72 hours. That's how we do it. That's how we do it here. Boom. All right. So this is going to be my first anything that has any calories in 72 hours. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good. That's good. Oh, I might just head this and just drink it. You guys won't think anything of me, right, if I do that? Yeah. Delicious. Delicious. And then, let's see. Let's do this one. And then I've got some cheese. I think this is, what is this? Mozzarella. So I think he brought me, let me see. Let's go back here. Got some mozzarella. This is white cheddar. And I believe this is pepper jack. Yeah, this is the mozzarella I have in my mouth. Delicious, delicious. All right. So as you see, so I'm breaking my fast with the broth, with the and this is a combination actually. I had him do, because I have the what do I have? I have the chicken and I have the bone, not chicken and the beef broth, and so I asked him to just mix it, and so that's what you're seeing me eat right now. And if we go back to this list, right? So right there's the broth. So that one says vegetable, but you can, it should just be broth, y'all. Start slow, reintroduce, and then pace yourself. So as we talk about foods, this is a great place to talk about ketones, because you saw my ketones were 4.3. Ketones less than 0.5 are considered normal. 0.5 to about 1.5 is nutritional ketosis. And then above 1.5 is considered therapeutic ketosis. So we want our blood sugars to be, not blood sugars, we want our ketones to be 0.5 or higher. And one of the things I like to do is, as I come out of the fast, I want to maintain some of the ketosis that I'm in a little longer, because it helps with all the things, and you guys have heard me talk about weight, blood sugars, metabolic syndrome, all those things, on and on and on. So even though I'm eating, I want to try to stay in ketosis if I can. Now, we've not talked about the ketogenic diet, because by virtue of be fasting, right? And you've got to do a little bit more extended fasting. 24 hours, maybe it will get you there, but you've got to do a little bit longer fast in order to get into ketosis if you're using fasting for that purpose. But other than that, people are in ketosis all the time, and they're eating, and they just eat a very, very low carb diet, right? In fact, I think there's some people who say 20 carbs. 20 grams of carbs per day is what you should be. Some people say 50. Depends on where you are and what program you're working through. This is so good. Did I say I like cheese? Yeah. Well, you guys probably know that, because you've seen me eat cheese probably on several of these when I'm breaking the fast. All right. So let's see. Where are we now? So let's talk a little bit about how we do things here. So you guys know the Triple E formula for success. We educate, empower, and encourage. Educate by giving information, by doing the shows. We educate by, let me see if I can pull it up. I'm going to try to pull up the website. Sometimes it doesn't quite work. Okay, and give it a minute. There he is. So the website, my website, DwayneWoodMD.com, all those things that we do are with the intent of educating, by giving you the information that you need to be able to move in the direction that you need to move, right, to be successful. There's our blog that we do. We've got a podcast that we do. Let's see, how can I get that from here? I think I can get to it. There we go. All right, so the podcast, right? So if you got people who want to listen to the show, it's a little edited version of what we do here on the channel. And they like to listen, right? They're like, why they're driving, right? Because people learn in different ways. So if you're a video person, hey, we got YouTube. You got the other platforms. If you're a social person, we do things on those. We got shorts that come out. But we educate, and all that is with the intention of educating as part of our platform and the format that we use. Then we empower. The empowerment comes with the tools. One of the tools we're using is fasting. That's why I talk so much about fasting. We use emotional intelligence, mindfulness, right? The 5 whys. All of those are tools that we provide and tools that we use in order to move us in the direction. Because just having the education is not transformative, and we want transformation. And of course, encouraging comes from the community that you are a part of, the community that you continue to build and continue to participate in. Okay. I always remember, and I've got, I don't have my Heat shirt on today, but this is our platform, HEAT, right? What are the things that drive us to eat? They are habits, emotions, access, and taste. And one of the challenges that we did for the month of March was for you to figure out which one of these is what drives you. For me, I'll tell you, there are 3 of them. They are the emotions, right? The access, because they're right there, and then taste, because it brings back memory of a time before. Our challenge for this month, for the month of April, is to create a meal. Right, we did a meal. We did a show where we talked about carbs and non-starchy and so forth. So the challenge for this month is to create a meal that has these parameters. Right, it must be whole foods. Right, not a lot of processed foods. No added sugar. Some starchy and some non-starchy vegetables and foods there. Healthy fats and lean protein. It has to be tasty, y'all. And then the appropriate portion size. So that's our challenge for this month. And then our call to action. Number 1, the call to action. Number one, join the conversation. Get into the challenges. Just like I gave a challenge, go home and start working on that. Take a picture, do a video, send it to us so that we can all enjoy it with you together. So join the challenges. Number 2, share your story. As you come on, let us know where you are. How long have you been fasting? What successes are you having? What challenges are you having? Where are you seeing breakthroughs? What results are you seeing? We had someone who said that they were able to cut down their insulin. Their weight has gone down. Their blood sugars are better. They're off of some medications. All of those things, when you share your story, then people get encouraged and they know that they can do it. And when you share your challenges, they know that they're not by themselves. On Thursday coming up on the 18th at 7 o'clock, we're having our next community meetup. Our next New Year, New You community meetup. And I'll put that link in the chat here in just a minute. And then invite a friend. There are so many people around the world, around the country, that are diabetic, that are pre-diabetic, that have metabolic syndrome, and you can be the voice to help them be successful. Right? You can be the voice to help them be successful. Say to them, hey, let's go and let's watch these shows together. Form a watch group. Send them the link. Invite them to come on and be with us as we're going through the shows, as we're doing the check-ins. Right? All of that will help as you spread the information and let them know that they can be successful. So let me grab that link here really quickly, and then we'll post it in the chat. You've got to be here to get it, right? Because we're not putting this out to everybody. If people are watching the shows, they're getting it. If they are watching the replays, they're getting it. All right, so that should be coming through right there. All right. And let's see. So Jennifer says, my challenge is that I was on a family trip to the eclipse, ate too much, and now it is difficult to get back on track. So Jennifer, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. And that is a common thing, right? So often the place where we go off track are times when the schedule changes. Because if you're in your normal routine, you've got your thing, right? And you go in and going. But when schedule changes, then something happens, something interrupts it. And when we come back, there are several reasons why people have difficulty getting on track. One is that they think they got to start over from scratch. They feel like it was a failure, right? And so our process, the very first thing I want to say, and we're actually going to do a show on getting back on track. The first thing I want to say is that realize that flexibility is a part of this whole process. It has to be flexible. And so when things change and we come back, it's not, okay, oh my God, I messed up. I'm so far behind, or, oh, there's this big mountain I've got to climb to get back on track. It is where you are, and you start right there. So Jennifer, wherever you are right now, just start right there, right? You don't have to do a 72 hour. You don't have to do a 48. You don't have to do a 36. Maybe right now all you can do is an 18, and that's okay, right? And then we move through that process, right? So remember that. But thank you for sharing that. Awesome. All right. Well, everybody, we thank you for being here. I am excited always when we get to talk, and I've got some cheese. I've been waiting. I've been trying to finish talking so I can put this in my mouth. As always, love being here, loving having you in the community. Make sure you sign up if you've not already done so for our community meetup that's coming up on Thursday, the 18th at 7 p.m. Central. I love being here with you, and I love the space. You are my community. And here on the channel, we support each other. I'm Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level, creating the life you've always wanted. And in this year, y'all, new year, new you. We'll see you on Monday at our next check-in. Have a great weekend. Good night.